I think a lot about the different types of gear that are out there, the different types of gear that people rave about or promote, or things that they, say are the best or makes them sound or play a certain way, or I'm kind of torn by that. Not because I don't think it's important to have brands that inspire you and make you want to be the best you can be. But sometimes I think we put too much emphasis on what we're playing and not the skill we're playing with or how we're playing. I don't think it's a problem to, worry about how much a cymbal weighs to the gram, but I do think it's a problem when you don't take lessons or you don't devote a lot of time to your craft and you're more concerned on finding out how much the cymbal weighs. I've gone through phases of thinking the gear was so important, so much so to where that was holding me back, and I don't think that's true. The more that I play, the more that I gain experience, the more that I hone in on my craft, I feel like playing and focusing on how you play and having control over your body and what you're doing and having an understanding of how you're being perceived in the environment you're in, that stuff's way, way greater of importance than if you're playing a Remo head or an Evans head. I wanted to say that before jumping into finding things that are your favorite. Part of what I was thinking about was a lot of times people ask me, well, how do you get endorsements? How do you I want to get endorsed. And part of me is like, well, why do you want to get endorsed? Just so that you can say you're endorsed? Is that something that's going to solidify you as a drummer in your head? A lot of people have said, I just want to get endorsed, period. And I say, man, I never thought about it that way. I thought about it, I want to get good enough to where a company wants to work with me or be attached to my name. And that's a different way of looking at it. I've even tried out brands that I've at first thought, this is really something I think is awesome. And as I play it and get more familiar with it, then I start to realize maybe it's missing just a little something, or maybe it's not exactly what I want, or and that's okay. We all are going through phases, and we're all learning. And I think the important thing is to be learning, not that you did learn at one point and you stopped learning. But I remember came in on a weekend, and there was a guy from LA, and he had set up a bunch of DPA mics on the kit, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it's another company. And I remember hearing the tom mics in my in-ears and thinking, oh my gosh, this is the most alive sounding my kit's ever sounded. It actually sounds like I don't have in-ears in. And that, to me, I was like, okay, that's what I have to have, because I know it's possible, I know it's out there. And based off what I want to create and how I want to be perceived with, or what environment I want to make, that was so right there. Like every little tiny nuance that was being created on the kit was being captured and presented the way that I wanted it to be presented. And I just had never felt so connected to a mic interpreting me so accurately. That's why I play DPA. It's not because other mics aren't great, and I'm not saying that Zildjian, I play Zildjian. Does that mean every person has to play Zildjian? No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying you need to find what makes you who you are the best, and do not care what other people say about you or about it or about the product. Quite frankly, I don't have to find out what everyone thinks about my Promark sticks or my Evans drum heads that I like to play. They are exactly what I'm looking for, and I don't need approval from someone else. And quite frankly, if I didn't get if I wasn't endorsed by those companies, I would still want to play those companies. I love setting my backpack next to me and seeing, like, having the ability for my sticks to pop out the top, but it wasn't designed so much like that to where I ended up having to put a shirt in the bottom of it and then set the stick tips on the top of the shirt, and it'd stick out the bag. And I remember the first time seeing a Gruv gear bag, I just couldn't even believe the attention to detail and all the things that I wished were in a design. They were all there. It was like I sat down and created the bag of everything that I wished was in another design. And so I do say gear is important, you know, having the right stuff that makes you feel completely like yourself and who you are, and represents who you are and gives you what you want. That's all important. But I think it's so easy to be influenced by what's popular or what's the trending thing, you know, 26-inch cymbals, or, I mean, I would encourage anyone to find what inspires you and go that direction. And even if it's a brand maybe people don't like, if you like it and you really are getting what you want out of it, then that's the goal, that's the end result. And yeah, it's fun to find things that feel exactly like, that's it, I don't need to look anymore.